All right, folks, we are back on the dreaded top. I'm really determined I'm going to get this thing sorted out today. I have been fighting with this for quite some time, and looking at old footage, I'm almost feeling I was better the very first round, but I'm determined to give this a shot. We're going to cut that out, we're going to sew that in, and I am hoping that once I push that down and we kind of do a little tug and a pull, this thing's going to look mint. I know there's ways to do like shrinking with, what do you call it? Like doing some heat to kind of get some wrinkles out and stuff. There's also steaming, I think. I just don't understand how that, when it's sunny, it's going to get all wrinkly again, but that's just my thought on this. Anyways, our first plan of attack that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut out this pattern. We're going to try to sew it in. I have one little piece on the other side I'm not happy about. I showed that on the last video, and it has to do with my stitching. So a lot of this looks a little cruddy, but you have to imagine once I pull, I'm hoping this kind of comes out, and then you know how I wanted to do that double stitch? Everything is good till about here. Here there's almost too much materials, and I screwed up on something. So I'm going to just pull out the razor blade. We're going to bust open this stitch, and well, hopefully I can re-sew this and get rid of some excess material. Because you can see when I kind of pull up on this, that wrinkle, like this wrinkle bulge kind of thing kind of goes away. So if I roll this over and tighten this fold up a little bit, we're going to be cherry. There's our little dreaded little monsters that are going to screw our paint job up. All right. So I don't know if I'm going to go this high. I think I'm going to go, because the midway of my window is at this line. So I'm probably going to go with that line. And then I'll probably mark this to this part. That way I know to sew this to there. Somehow, what I'm kind of concerned, or what I really want to try to do, is make sure something to mark what I was doing right here, so I can take it apart. So what I'm hoping is that's going to go midway, and then I'm not going to worry about the middle of the window, because all of these things are going to fold, but I need to have a good sew stitch going through the middle somehow. Yeah. There's just a lot of stuff happening here. And I'm hoping I can the goal is to push and pull this everywhere I need, and then hopefully around the window I can deal with it. I hope. I really, really hope. All right, we got a game plan. First things first, I'm going to cut this stitch, get that thing fixed. We're going to cut this piece of material and try to sew it together and hope I don't screw up. Man, I really don't want to do round 3 of this. I don't think I am actually on round 3. Well, you may not have seen it, but I'm pretty sure this is round 3 or 4 at this thing. All right, let's get going. Well, for the first time, I almost feel like I actually have a chance at this. What I should have done was I did my stitching like I did. I just violently taped it down into all the places. Well, at least the 4 corners. So I pulled everything tight. This looks like with a little more finessing, we're going to get this pretty decent. Then in the back, I tried the paper thing again. It just wasn't working for me. I took some of my old failed roof chunk and I kind of just went high with it, and well, we're going to see how it goes. I'm just hoping everything will stretch out right, but overall looks good. I got my marks to line back up again. Everything's kind of stretched. It looks like it's going to work out okay. Hopefully I can do the back window part and get that sorted and laid in right. But, well, I don't know. So far, I'm getting a little more stoked. Everything sort of looks like it's going to work. Like I say, there's just excess everywhere right now, but that's fine. Now I made all the marks. I'm going to basically do all the cuts. We're going to somehow try to stitch this and make this all look as it should, as one piece. And so I kind of made marks. They're going to be hard to line up, but it'll be something to reference. Sometimes you get too much material, and when you stretch and pull, these lines go out, and then by the time you get to the end, things don't fit. So ideally, I guess if you pull this tight, try to deal with it. As you're sewing, if you line up marks, I think the trick with sewing, some guys will just take a little scissor and do a little triangle. I'm not there, so I kind of just have to force myself to make sure I get some marks, because sometimes you'll have like a lot of material and you're just going to have to try to somehow sew it in place because you've kind of pre-stretched things, if that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, we're going to somehow cut this in. So I think I'm going to stitch this to the upper part, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to break a bunch of this stitching. Well, we're going to cut everything, stitch this, hopefully have a smooth transition from this piece into this piece as we stitch that. And the next time we lay this on here, I am hoping it's going to fit uber nice. Well, it definitely doesn't look great, but I'm pretty darn happy. We got a couple zigzaggy stitches, but other than that, I made some marks here so I have a reference that when so I did the double stitch here and then I was able to just do that stitch. So that's kind of out of the way. Now we got to do the double stitch across here, and in the hopes I can fix maybe some of these bubbly spots. I don't know if that's worth doing. I know here I want to because there's like really a bad spot here. See how the front is good? We might be able to shrink that out or pull and tug like crazy to try to get some of those wrinkles out. I don't know. There's a way to kind of hit a heat gun and it'll kind of do something, but I have a mark there and then I have one on this side because here we can kind of do the fold. It'll be good, but over here we got some definite weirdness. So we basically have to close this up a little more because there's definitely too much material there. I'm hoping I can do it with my sewing. We'll see if I can or not. Because right now we're just here. We got to do the double stitch just to make it extra strong when we go start tugging and pulling. Right now there's just a single stitch and it works, but when you pull really hard, you might almost, it shouldn't rip out, but it almost feels like it wants to. Anyways, enough said. I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm sure you folks have seen enough sewing that I'm gonna quickly do this stitch across both of these sides, and then we're gonna come back. I'm gonna throw this thing back on. Hopefully everything is well in the world. I'll probably stretch the roof out everywhere. I want to get a good stretch on it so that we can mark the inside, because we're gonna have to sew some more material on the flats everywhere. So there's going to be a seam in the front, on this edge, and on, I don't know if they'll be on the bottom. We'll see how this thing kind of pans out. I think I'm going to be pretty close to the point where I can actually take this off and we'll set it up on the forklift again, just so I can get around to the inside and all that jazz. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting somewhere here. Anyways, I'm going to pull it off. I'll quickly sew that up and I'll bring you guys back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Well, you know, there's a few things, but overall, I think I can live with it all. I think these will come out with a little bit of heat. Yeah, we got a little bit. I think if we do a little harder tug down there, you know, we're going to have to do, I think, all the tugs to make sure everything sits the way it's supposed to. But, yeah, see, you know, there's a few, whatever. I don't know. I have to live with that, I think. But like I say, I don't know. I haven't tried the heat gun trick. So supposedly that'll kind of shrink some of this stuff. The old pulling this up and sewing it, that really didn't work. It kind of just made it a little more messy, but we're okay. A little bit of cleaner. We'll get it on here. We can see though that I sewed and all the marks we're trying to get, we're pretty much got them all lined up. So that helped in this whole cause of trying to get things to fit where they're supposed to. But anyways, we got everything tugged right now. I almost want to do a little more tugging everywhere just to make sure this thing is sitting where it's gonna sit so that we can actually start trimming. I'm not too worried about back here, but the sides and the front we have to trim because, well, we're gonna make a new flappy piece to go across there. We're gonna make a flappy piece to go into here. So it's gonna have like another sewn edge like this is gonna be on the side, and it has to, wherever I do it, it's gotta pull, and that's where it's gonna be, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do a little more pulling and prodding on here, and then we'll a little more duct tape on everything, which seems to work pretty good actually. And then we'll mark it up, cut it, and then I guess we'll just start. I can like loosely just make my patterns to go inside. Well, I think at that point I can actually take this thing off and get it onto, like, I just use my forklift so I can get it underneath there and look at it, do all that jazz. But we'll be able to try to glue the front three pieces, and then we'll kind of work this back edge and see how we can, we should be able to pull everything to that edge after and try to tighten the whole top. That's my thought. So hopefully everything works out. All right, let's get to do some more tugging here, and we'll cut some stuff up. Well, folks, I think we are getting very close. Got a little much here, but I think I have to tug it over on this side here yet. We're not quite even. It's a little overly tight here, which I do like. The line, I gotta watch what I'm doing. I was helping Ryder. He swapped the transmission on my car, and now I'm dirty. But you can see we got our line. We might end up not seeing it. It might get tugged and hidden. This is what I kind of think is going to happen, but I mean, overall, I'm super happy with it. Doesn't look good yet, but once we start tugging and pulling and maybe stretching and doing something, I think we're going to be onto something here. Everything's working out pretty good. The only thing I got to figure out is in this little corner, because we have this step out. So I'm trying to figure out how to sew that so it makes sense and can get tucked in there. And then I guess we're about ready to kind of glue this edge. I'm not sure how this is all working just yet. We're kind of pulling, doing our business up there. Everything's going to get a tug and a glue, but I think the front's going to get glued into place, what I think is right, and then we're going to stretch it as hard back as we can, and then we're going to go over this back edge, and I don't know if I'm going to glue it or how I'm doing it. I feel the foam is enough that it won't cut the vinyl if I do that and put it in there, but I'm not 100% sure yet. And then I guess I'll figure out how to cut the back window and things like that. Over the past week and a bit there, this is working a lot better than I thought. So it's starting to get acceptable. Anyways, I'm shutting her down for the night. We messed with that. We brought I had the Bobcat in because this is sat outside. It wasn't running, and then now I don't think it will run because it sat outside for a couple months, and I realized it must have got water. Even though the exhaust is here, there must be a hole in it or something. I don't know. Somehow water got in, it looks like, because two of these are kind of bunk. It wasn't running before because the butterfly fell off the carburetor and it got sucked in, I guess, or something. So I thought maybe I could find it, but I don't know if it wrecked a valve or did something. I don't know. But it doesn't look good. So we got another motor at the farm. We're probably just going to R&R the motor out and try to make something up. This unit's kind of, I don't know, it's a good one. I like it because this thing's still all mechanical. So the drive is mechanical. It's got like a big belt system and just some clutches. So I like that part of it. Only problem with it is this one has a distributor, and then through it has a pump on the end. And well, the distributor's pretty hammered out, so it just leaks oil like a sieve. And it's nothing you can really replace because the bushings are banged out and everything's pretty buggered with that side of it. So either gonna off the other jack shaft, we're just gonna run the pump that way, or I gotta find another distributor slash oil pump combo dealio. Usually, I think this is a little Wisconsin, so usually they're just the distributor's there, and it doesn't have a through shaft, so you can run a pump like that. So I've always had to recycle this when I've been messing with different motors. Anyways, we have a swather at the farm, and it actually has the same belt on it. It's like a snowmobile. So you kind of hit a lever and then it goes faster or slower. That works your drive. And then this one, I had tranny buggered up. So we got that swapped. Well, I didn't. Ryder got it swapped for me. So that's in there. The only flaw is this thing's a 9-inch tail shaft and that one was a 6. So that means I got to take a couple inches out of that drive shaft, and then this thing is good to boogie again. Other than a wheel alignment, I got to do that yet, but that's all for another day. Oh yeah, and then the 54's over there. We got that going. We got lots going on here. We got it in. I changed the spring. We're running, I don't know, around 9-10 pounds of boost right now. It's a hoot, but just trying to do some little finishing, razzy-dazzy things in there. Anyways, I think that is what I'm going to call it for today. And we'll be back at it tomorrow and hopefully actually get that top upholstered. I think that's the right term. Get it all finished anyways. Well, we're on a new day. Clean hands. We're going to look at this top again. The plan for today, or right now anyways, I feel like we got to do a lot of stretching and pulling. I'm going to sit this thing out in the sun probably. I'm a little concerned about the back window. because I have to cut it and it has to go in. I'm a little worried I'm gonna have to sew something in there. So I don't know if I want to go too permanent holding everything, but I'd like to stretch it all out and get it sitting where it's supposed to and see if a lot of these wrinkles go. The thing right now that I got to do is I'm actually realizing too, a lot of this stuff that I thought I was going to have this nice edge, well, like I thought, it's going to disappear under there, which whatever. I'm okay with that. But this part here, I kind of had sewn this to get into this corner, but we have like a funny little step. It's kind of where my door closes. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to sew this to make sense. I guess you could just follow it all. Nah, there's a little bit of weirdness gonna happen. I'm gonna find some way to hold these on for now, and then I just want when everything's pulled to look more natural and not end up getting cut by my door. So anyways, I'm going to work on this a little bit, and then I'm going to double stitch this thing, or French stitch, or I don't know what the stitch is called. Somebody told me and I already forgot. But we're going to do this similar one just to make it pretty strong so we can really rip on this sucker. And I'm going to try to clamp, like I said, I'm going to put it outside. We're going to try to clamp it all in place and then figure out how this is going to work. I might mark it. And then I can cut it and see if it'll work the way I want. I'm worried I won't have enough material to get into the places that I need to go, and then you're going to end up seeing something. So I might have to make a sewn part around the windows, similar to the way I did my doors, but I can just add material all the way around. But because it's stretched so much, if I cut it now, everything's going to be in the wrong place. So I want it to be right when it's stretched, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's figure this a little bit out so we're all up, and then I guess I'm just going to let it sit in the sun for a while. We'll see if we can do that and pull it and just kind of clamp it. I don't know that I want to glue it just yet till I know this back window thing's going to actually work. I basically brushed on some of this cement. This is supposed to be the thing. It'll never come off. I originally was going to do it inside. I had the heat gun, but it was cloudy before, so I figured I was going to try it inside, but not working. So anyways, I got the top sitting in the sun because our cloud cover went away, and I'm letting it sit there. Hopefully the vinyl, softens up a lot that we can pull. I don't know if I'll have to reapply the glue. We're gonna see. It says I'm supposed to wait till it's dry and then apply it, so I don't know. But it might be too dry, I don't know. And it's pretty humid out, so I'm hoping that's not gonna affect anything. I think the back window is gonna be fine, so that's why I'm just committing and I'm gluing it. I trimmed the foam on the bottom. We added that rubber edge too, because I'm gonna be pulling that thing so tight around. I'm hoping everything's gonna work out. The window will be the iffy part, but I think we'll be okay. If anything, we'll heat it up again. And then when I put the window in, we can kind of press it in place. Anyway, I got it sitting out in the sun, and we're gonna let her go. I'm gonna have to reapply some glue to pull in the corners, but right now I'm trying to just pull the back around as hard as I can. And then I'll go to the sides, and hopefully any other little weird wrinkles I can hopefully get out. I hope. All right, so we'll wait for that to warm up. Well, folks, this is pretty awesome. I'm really happy with it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Just a few little flaws. But this top is nice. It doesn't quite fit as tight because what I did on the bottom, you probably didn't see, that same little rubber trim that I put in the front, I did around the back, and it seems to, my top doesn't quite squish down as much, which may not be a bad thing. I might actually add just some better foam or something in there, but the overall, this is what I was envisioning. I haven't cut the back window yet, but I'm certain it's going to be fine. That whole thing in the sun worked well, so what I'm going to do is we'll kind of do the old cut and glue into there. I'm just kind of pancake the roof down now to just let all the glue dry kind of in its locked position, if that makes sense. But this side's, I'm not even going to complain. It's fine. It is what it is. So we're going to have to do all of our strips with our rubber trim yet everywhere. But because you can see we got a big gap everywhere. Well, this side's a little bigger than the other side, but I don't think the window's going quite all the way up yet. So anyways, that's just a nice gap. When we put that trim in with the rubber, it's going to seal this up. Under the front, we still have the same dealio going across there, which is going to screw this piece in and hold the glass, or hold the, the rubber against the glass. So I think it'll be fairly watertight. Time will tell. But yeah, it's crazy to think this was sort of in my head, was that top, that bed, everything was something I thought of, or I kind of years ago was my plan. Yes, I could have farmed that out. That thing would have been probably as much as my truck costs to build right now, just to get that and that tonneau cover upholstered. So I don't mind trying and failing. I don't know. It's what it is. It's what makes it fun. I don't know. Got to screw up a little bit to get ahead. It sounds weird, but I enjoy the upholstery. It's fun-ish. I'm getting better at it. Let's put it that way. I started with, I think I did Esther's Merc, her first Merc. Man, I just used a regular household sewing machine. That sucked, but I managed to do some door panels, things like that. And then eventually I upgraded, got a walking foot. Well, that was probably the next job I did. I think I did her car, and I don't know, it was just something I never knew how to do, so I kind of just struggled to figure it out. And well, you watch some videos, do something. I haven't found anything how to do this, so this is, some people are probably yelling at the screen, I did it wrong, I don't know, but you know, in the end, it worked. I'm happy with it. That's all that really matters. Yeah. Cool. I don't know where to go with this, but other than get out there and try something, even if you're uncomfortable with it. I sucked at it, but in the end, I'm happy with the results. Is it perfect? No. But is anything perfect on here? No. It's a driver. This is actually a really fancy driver, but it's gonna get driven. My plan now is, I don't think I'm gonna, I want to get it in primer, last coat of primer, but I do want to just drive it a little bit this fall, so I gotta finish up a few loose ends, maybe upholster the seat, just like to get that at least done. I'm not worried about the door cards, the interior panel. I'm kind of gonna wait till winter to finish it up. I think we managed to get a room at the Orleans for next year for Viva, so that's where I probably want to debut, or just we just want to do an awesome road trip with this thing and rock it out there. So I want to get a few miles on before, you know, our winter hits and whatnot. So what is next? I guess next round we're going to finish the top up by getting all of our trim pieces in, get the back window in, which reminds me I never did get the glass made, so we'll have to do that quick. And well, get that done anyways. I don't know from there. We're going to do the shuffle around in the shop, and that way I can kind of get some primer on it, just because we're at the time of the year. And now I got lots of flies, so flies are the new thing in the shop here. But overall, that worked really well. The sun stretch was awesome. That other glue, phenomenal. The other glue's good, but And it dries and it is good, but this stuff is like, apparently you're not getting it back off once it's on. It's a permanent thing. So this is what I was using. So I did that on the bed. I don't feel bad about it because that one, what do you call it? It's stapled. So this one is strictly glued, but we are going to have some strips in there to hold it, to fasten it down. And then, I don't even know, this maybe is just because it's this company's own glue, but it is some kind of a cement, like it's for this purpose, I guess. So I gotta get that lid down. Anyways, folks, I guess long story short, I'm happy. We are boogieing along. We finally got through this little hurdle. I feel like we're getting ahead. There's things we'll have to do. I'm a little worried where the door is hitting it. It's gonna rub, so I might have to put some kind of a, I don't know, like a stainless strip or something on top so it doesn't rip the top where the door kind of opens and closes, because I got that pretty tight there. And yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm rambling on. I'm pretty happy. So anyways, folks, I think that's where we're going to leave this one, on a happy note. So as always, I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.